Hey, Wash fam, this is Randy Havens,
Randy Havens.
and you're listening to Brunch on Washed Media.
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
You didn't think I would do it. I went to a soccer bar.
You went to a soccer
I
bar?
went to a soccer bar, watched the Champions League
Yeah, Champions League.
Champions League final. Walked in, was immediately the only asshole there wearing a Ween shirt. Everybody was wearing
I bet I can
Chelsea
guess.
stuff.
Yeah, soccer stuff.
There was one guy that was a Manchester City guy,
Boo.
and I had to keep it to myself. I was like, ooh, I never ended up picking a Premier League team, but when I was going to do it, I was maybe going to pick Manchester City because I like their kits.
But if I can recall, you didn't want to do it because they have the exact same kits as New York
They look
Football
like
Club.
NYCFC. So then I just quit that whole project and focused back on MLS. But let me tell you, that was a very good. First of all, I don't know why I didn't just support Chelsea. They're royal blue.
Very
Maybe
nice.
it was because I was in a sea of it. It looked great. They got cool sponsors, the whole thing. They were wearing soccer balls on their sleeves, but I think is that like the Champions League logo or something?
I'm not sure.
They had soccer balls on their sleeves, and I was like, I'm all for that. But great experience. At the end, a guy, there's like a hierarchy of like cliques among like soccer bars and people. Like after the game,
I've noticed that too. Like
there's
when
like
I went-
there's like
right.
popular kids and stuff.
Yeah, and like there's basically like a governance. It feels like.
Totally. So after people were going crazy, even when it was scoreless, I was like, once they score, someone's gonna go nuts. I just said scoreless. That was incorrect. Even when it was 0-0, that
There's
was
always
the
a score.
That was the score. Went crazy. The only Manchester City guy in the bar said, "Starting to get pretty quiet in here, huh?" And immediately Chelsea scored the only goal of the game. That was the best. But yeah, what really won me over was after the game, everyone's cheering, having a good time, getting each other shots. It was a whole scene. I hear like people start clapping. I hear like 2 claps, and then I hear like, and I hear 3 claps, and I hear, if you hear the sound of my voice, clap 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you hear the sound of my voice, clap 5 times. 1, 2, 3. And I was like, what's going on? I said to one of my friends, I was like, is this a soccer thing? And he was like, no, it's just that guy's just getting everybody's attention. And this guy gave a speech. It was like the best speech I've ever heard
Okay.
about like what a special day it was, how great it was to be with everybody. And everybody cheered. And let's say the guy's name is Chris. I was like, who's that? I was like, does this guy own the bar or something like that? And they were like, no, that's Chris. He's like kind of like the most popular guy.
That is unbelievable.
And I was like, I need to become a Chelsea supporter. And
just so I can be friends with that guy.
And I need to be like Chris's like right-hand man. Like I need to be, in Role Models, how Ken Jeong's character has like, I forget their names, but it's like a bunch of like UCB guys that just kind of follow him around. UCB. I was like, I don't know if this guy is like a crew or something like that, but I would like to be friends with this guy. I've never seen anybody like command a bar like that, and I've just never seen
Also, like when have you ever been an adult and been like, I need to be in on that guy's crew? Like, I need to be friends with him. I need to get in with him. That's like not a thing that you
never want
experienced
any
since
more
like
friends.
high school.
Yeah, right. You've never been like, oh, that guy's popular.
You're right.
But I was like asking around. I was like, hey, so Chris? And everyone knows Chris. Chris is the best. And I was like, what is it about him? Because as soon as he started to give I think mainly it was like the way he got everyone's attention, doing the like, if you hear my voice, clap this many times.
It's a cool move.
Because the clapping gets people's attention, and then like everybody's silent the rest of the time. It was really cool. So I'm still not necessarily in on Premier League, but it was a great game. I noticed some differences between MLS. I'm starting to realize like I'm picking up a little soccer knowledge.
Yeah, like just the soccer is better. In
Mainly
Premier
that,
League.
yeah. I don't know any of the terms or anything, but I was like, when this guy does that thing, it's a lot different in MLS. Mainly, they're just in way, way, way better shape. Like they
Yes.
can have one guy legitimately just follow the ball
Mhm.
and sprint and track the ball the entire time. Soccer, man, don't sleep on it.
It's a good sport.
It's a good
Should have our
sport.
guy Will DeFreeze come on to talk some shop.
Fellow Verde guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Does he
Well,
support?
what do you mean, fellow Verde guy? We
Yeah.
haven't made a decision.
Oh, I know. You can join if you want. The Verde
You're
decision
in?
has been made. Oh yeah,
You're like the biggest Revs guy in the world.
yeah,
You're
but
gonna be a
they're going to be
split
like
supporter.
yes, they're going to be like my Chargers.
Okay.
I'm like for absolutely no reason at all.
I was
The
weighing
reason was
like
Phillip Rivers.
I
but
was weighing like, am I going to be a Revs guy or am I going to be a Verde guy?
You should be both. It's so easy. They
The
play in
Revs
different
mean
conferences.
nothing to me.
You know what the Revs mean? They mean a lot to the standings because they're at the top of them. Revs best team in the East.
All I'm gonna say is that we've been doing a lot of pressuring Bud Light and Budweiser
Mhm.
to really earn our love, and well, I guess that's not true. We're gonna love them no matter what. But like, I'm putting the pressure on the New England Revolution because like they flirt hardcore with you,
Yeah.
and like they followed me on Twitter a while back, and like I haven't gotten anything out of it.
Maybe they're not liking what you're seeing. What they're seeing.
Maybe I'm not liking what I'm seeing.
Well, that's impossible. You're doing the you can't fire me, I quit
That's
thing.
right.
When that's just impossible because since you've heard about the Revs, they've been nothing but awesome. They're first place in the East. They signed Carlos Heel to a new deal. Carlos Heel is the bomb. Matt Turner having a great season. The Revs are where it's at.
I
Even,
need them to show a little bit of love.
like in the form of give you some stuff
Yes.
or something.
Yeah.
Okay, they've got some pretty.
Buy
they-
my
they-
love.
They put out a new kit every 5 seconds. That's a
I know. I
soccer
wanted
thing.
that fucking throwback one so bad.
They didn't give it to you.
No,
You should flirt with them.
I did.
You should say.
I think that I was like, God damn, I need one of these. And like they liked the tweet and I never got anything out of it.
Interesting. I don't know.
Sons of bitches.
Flirt a little harder. No, Revs are where it's at. Today's the tent reckoning.
It really is.
Just an overwhelming amount of stuff. We've got A Quiet Place 2. We've got Dog Joker. We've got Mare of Easttown, and we've got the Friends reunion. Honestly, I kind of want to start with the Friends reunion because I feel that that's the most likely to get forgotten about. Like we could
Probably.
accidentally squeeze that out, and
It's also like the oldest.
that's right. It happened all the way Thursday.
Yeah.
Happened all the way Thursday. A lot of fluff in it, but I think definitely worth watching, and I liked it. Made me feel a lot of good things.
Yeah, same. I agree. I think that it was a bit all over the place, like, and just a lot of stuff that I didn't need. But but it's hard to say that I was disappointed because I had no expectations. I wasn't waiting for this. I wasn't like, oh God, I really need a Friends cast reunion documentary special. Like there was never any expectations for it. So, I obviously love Friends. It's been a big part of my life for a long time. And just like seeing the intimate stuff between the cast, seeing them reunite, especially like on the set and in that environment was really, really cool. Like the only stuff that I really, really felt strongly about was the intimate stuff. Get rid of like the sit down with James Corden at the fountain.
yeah.
Nothing valuable came from that.
That's not true. One valuable thing came from that.
What?
Are you kidding me?
What?
Well, go ahead, but go ahead. Finish your thought.
What valuable thing? I mean, you might say it and I'll be like, okay, yeah, but I don't remember.
Aniston and Schwimmer.
Oh yeah, when they talked about them having like a huge crush on each other
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, that was a big thing. But I feel like that could have came up anyway.
That could have came up anyway. I agree with you though. Focus. You could have made like a 20 to maybe even 30-minute thing that was awesome, and then just use like shots of Justin Bieber walking as was Bieber. Who did Bieber dress as?
He was the.
He wasn't the holiday
he
armadillo.
He was Sputnik.
Oh yeah, right. He was Sputnik. So make little silly things like that, or Gaga singing "Smelly Cat." Make those like
Transitions.
little transitions, like
Yeah.
5-second transitions, because there was so much fluff. Like, no offense, shout out Mindy Kaling. I don't need to hear that Mindy Kaling loved Friends growing up. I
Right.
can imagine that Mindy Kaling
David
loved Friends.
Beckham.
Yeah, like I can imagine that people who lived in the 90s loved Friends growing up. And honestly, you're not going to get a better I loved Friends growing up perspective and stories than the ones that we've gotten from Lena Waithe anyway. So like that's already been done.
Yeah, and
You can't beat it.
they did like the stuff with like the random people around the world and like what Friends meant to them. I thought that stuff
That was cooler.
I thought that stuff was kind of cool, but it was like it felt like they were trying to convince us that like Friends was important, and like I'm watching this. I know that Friends is important. I'm watching this because I already am interested in Friends. The reason that people are watching this is because they want to see the reunion between the people.
Oh yeah.
And so like that other stuff is so unnecessary. Save that for a documentary about Friends.
My favorite thing about it was not my favorite thing about it, but a great thing early on is that they had people show up one by one.
That was very, very cool.
I thought that it was appropriate. Haters, back off. I thought it was appropriate that they started with Schwimmer because he was the heartbeat of that show. No one wants to admit it, but he was.
I mean, that the show wants to admit it. They made that very clear.
Oh
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. They were
like,
this
he
was the
is
David
the guy.
Schwimmer show.
Yeah,
yeah. And I liked when they talked about the casting because I remembered it as Courtney Cox was the only celebrity on that show.
she was the biggest.
She was. But it was interesting that they were like, we intentionally didn't want to have anybody who was huge yet. So we went with Schwimmer, it sounded like he was like kind of like the Jason Bateman of back then.
He was
where,
like hot
they
shit
would,
behind,
like,
not
try-
behind the scenes, but like people in the industry knew
like
him.
people wanted to, like they were always like David Schwimmer pilots, and
Yeah.
people were like, we should be able to make it with David Schwimmer, and it shouldn't work. They've said about Arrested Development that like a big reason why people thought it wouldn't take off was apparently at that point Jason Bateman was like that, where like he was like the guy that should be in the next show, and they tried him so many times and none of them had taken off. So when he did Arrested Development, people were like, oh, a Jason
Just another
Bateman
project,
project.
yeah.
Wonder how this will go.
Yeah, but like I think that mentality works, and that's also a reason why now I don't want a like for a while I was like, man, they should do a Friends, not a reboot, but like they should do
Like an episode that checks in on them or something.
right. And like I know that I saw a lot of people say like, why did they do this like reunion thing and not do like a special where they're in character and it's a scripted thing. I don't want that now because like even watching this, all these people have gotten so famous since Friends that it's now like you see Jennifer Aniston, you don't see Rachel, you see David Schwimmer, you don't see Ross, like on and on and on. Like that is why I believe that they didn't want to cast known actors going into this. They didn't want people watching the show and being taken out of it by being like, that is an actor that I know.
Yeah, I liked that when they showed up one by one, Matt LeBlanc, who Friends by far meant the most to him.
Yeah.
That was apparent just with how they all talked about the show. And Matt LeBlanc,
He's like a happy to be there
yeah,
kinda
like
guy.
didn't even try to hide it. He was like, I was making dinner the other day and we had Friends on and it was this episode and I was so happy. And like Schwimmer's like, I think Schwimmer and Kudrow both said that like they didn't really watch the show. But when they're showing up one by one, before Courtney Cox has gotten there, they take the opportunity to put out there that Courtney Cox was the worst actress out of all, or worst actor out of all of them, and that she used to have to hide scripts all over the place. And the story, I mean, this is super mean. Of she had a script like on the table or something.
on the kitchen table.
Yeah, on the kitchen table, and
Not like the script on the kitchen. She wrote the script on the kitchen table.
right. And LeBlanc asked like, "What's that?" And she was like, "Don't worry about it." And he didn't like that she kind of brushed him off or something, so he hid it. So
He erased it.
oh
He
right.
erased it from the table, and she was like, "That's so mean. Why did you do that?" And he's like, "Well, to fuck with you."
Yeah. I liked it. I liked the stuff with Aniston and Schwimmer saying that they were into each other. It did seem like that was kind of planted, that they were like, this is the juicy revelation that we'll give you. LeBlanc said it was BS that they never got together. Out the line of Aniston saying that if the first time we kiss is on TV, like that'll be such a sin. I thought it was very, very romantic. So that was pretty cool. Do you know who the people they were seeing at the time were? So the story, if people didn't watch it, were that they liked each other and were always in relationships, so they were never single at the same time. So as they put it, they never got together. Matt LeBlanc semi-jokingly said that that's a
That's
lie.
not true, yeah. I don't remember who they were. I mean, like the easy guess would be Brad Pitt, but now that you're asking that question, it makes me say that that's probably incorrect. I know that there was an Adam Duritz moment for Jennifer Aniston.
That is correct. So Duritz was in the picture during
Wow.
that, and Schwimmer was in, I think, a pretty long-term relationship with Natalie Imbruglia.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What a weird.
Just two musicians.
Yeah. And you know that after, I didn't know that. Do you know who Tate Donovan is?
Yeah.
He's played Joshua on the show, of course. He came on the show after he got out of a relationship with Jennifer Aniston.
Really?
Yeah.
Playing Jennifer Aniston's love interest
Playing
on
Jennifer
the show.
Aniston's love interest, and I found a quote from him that was like, "Oh, yeah, that was like the worst experience of my life." Like I would, yeah. He said that he would like just like cry in between scenes and everything. I'm like, man, at first I was like, do I need like a behind the scenes friends thing? And now that I got a little taste, it's got me Googling.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
wild. That's gonna be like a really tough position for Tate Donovan because, like, on one hand, this is really, really painful,
Yeah.
and on the other hand, it's like, well, this is fucking Friends, the biggest show in the
Gotta-
world.
right.
I gotta do it for my career.
Can't turn this down. That's crazy.
How does Jennifer Aniston allow that to happen, though?
I don't know. I
Maybe
think,
maybe she broke up with him and wasn't feeling all that like
yeah.
sentimental about it.
I think she did the like, it's fine. Like we weren't like officially together or anything, and like we're fine. Like we're friends. We were friends who kind of crossed that line, but we're always gonna be friends. And Tate Donovan's like,
I'm in love with you.
what are you talking about? Like we were practically living together. You were my life. She's like, we don't have to like make it a big thing or anything. Tate Donovan just correct. Tate Donovan's got a great smile.
Yeah, he's got a nice, charming presence to him.
And you know what? I'm looking at pictures of young Tate Donovan with
Jennifer
his lady Jennifer Aniston. They look great together.
Hell yeah.
He also dated Sandra Bullock.
Wow.
Not to
Good for
just
him.
like pry into Tate Donovan's life, but yeah, he was very, very handsome guy. Still is. Congratulations, Tate Donovan. I was surprised he wasn't brought back for the reunion. Everybody else was.
Yeah, literally everybody. And like that's another thing that I didn't
But Paul
need.
Rudd.
Yeah, he was there. Oh no, he wasn't there.
They brought up that like he was discussed as like the biggest person that wasn't back there.
Yeah, I didn't need all the cameos from like the guests and stuff. They a lot of the times they just didn't bring anything to the table. Like they brought Gunther on and it was just like, "Hey, there's Gunther. How'd you feel about being on Friends?" And he was like, "It was awesome." And they're like, "All right, cool, Gunther. See you later."
Yeah,
It's just
like, Thomas Lennon, I felt like that was more of like hey, did you know that the hand twin was played by Thomas Lennon? And you're like,
right.
Yeah, okay. Gunther did make a great appearance in episodes where Matt LeBlanc, it's a show I watched,
right, yeah.
I think I told you about it, where like two British writers are forced to do like an American version of their show, and Matt LeBlanc is forced upon them, and they hate Matt LeBlanc, and he's terrible, and he brings nothing to the table, and he's a terrible actor, and he just coasts on
And
the
he
fact
plays
that he
plays
was
like
Joey.
a wash. Yeah, is it like explicitly said like he played Joey on Friends? Because I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. He
okay.
plays. He plays himself.
Okay.
And one of the episodes is they need to get someone else from Friends on the show because they need the ratings. So he's calling around, and everybody on Friends hates him, and like Jennifer Aniston won't talk to him. It's a whole thing. And then like they shoot the episode, and I think he plays a high school hockey coach. So they do the episode, and then like the episode ends with Gunther being like, "Hey," let's say his character's name is Chris. He's like, "Hey, Chris, nice game," and that's it.
Really?
Like the only thing that he could get was Gunther, who would only say one line. I think at the end, the guy who plays Gunther is like, "Hey, no problem. Just like, don't tell Jen that I did this. Like, she'd hate me for it or something."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get the sense during the special that like any of them harbored resentment towards any other ones?
I was wondering that because especially with them bringing so many people back, I was like, it would be impossible for there to not be any hard feeling. I even wanted that with Paul Rudd. I was like, did somebody have an issue with Paul Rudd and say, like, you know, it'd just be better if we don't get them all together? I don't know. I talked to other people, and the read that they got was that it seemed like Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston were like best friends. I didn't necessarily get that.
I know that they've hung out before. Like, they post pictures and stuff together quite a bit.
Okay, so like they've remained super close. I don't know. It seemed like everyone kind of has done their own thing. I know it. I loved what Matthew Perry said at the end of like, if we ever see each other out, that was like honestly my favorite part of the whole thing. He was like, people just got to know, like, I'm gonna be with that person for the rest of the night. I loved that, and I believed that, but I don't know if people necessarily harbored ill will. I think that Matthew Perry was definitely the most distant from it.
Well, yeah, and like it broke my heart that like so many people were fucking making fun of him because of like
Were they?
Yeah, I saw like a lot of people being like, he like looks fucked up, or like he like had trouble speaking. And I know that he had emergency dental surgery before, like pretty soon before the special was taped. And also like I know that he looked sort of out of it, and like a lot of people said that he looked like he couldn't keep up with what was going on. But I was also like, I had it in the back of my head the entire time that like that's probably a much more difficult situation for him being there and being around all those people than anybody else that's there, because obviously he's had his demons. And, and he, like,
I think
for everybody else,
that he doesn't remember.
He doesn't remember like a few full seasons. So like everybody there recollecting on how it's like some of the best memories of their lives. He probably doesn't remember some of those memories. He also like it's probably a very complicated situation where that is some of the best years of his life, but it's also some of the worst years of his life. So, like, that is such a complex situation for Matthew Perry to be there. And it was just, like, really, it felt really mean that a lot of people were, like, online being like, yo, this guy looks fucked up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you kind of said it, but it must be super weird having people talk about and celebrate stuff that you did that you're not 100% on. And the stuff of like, I needed to get a laugh. I always need to get a joke in there. Like if people weren't laughing at me, then I felt like I was failing. I was like, man, that was such a, obviously a lot of people are wired that way. A lot of like comedic actors and comedians.
A lot of like actors and stuff, just they can't watch their own stuff. And that was discussed too. That I forget who said it, but they're like, I can't watch. I think it was actually Matt LeBlanc. He was like, oh no, I don't know. Somebody he was like,
oh, he said, I don't believe myself because I'm the one doing it.
Right. I know, like you guys are great on the show, but like I watch me and I don't believe a fucking thing that I'm saying because I know that it's a job for me.
Yeah. Shout out Matt LeBlanc being a real one and being like, I watched Joey and I'm like, what the hell's that?
Right.
I know that's not explicitly what he said. I did think about it. I was like, should we watch the show Joey at some point?
Was that I couldn't tell if he had made a joke. They were like, "What do you think that your character would be doing now?" And did he make a Joey joke where he was like,
I don't know, but I was wondering if like they would shed a lot of light on that because I know that everybody, I think like David Crane was really angry about Joey.
Really?
I believe so.
I feel like that's one of the criticisms that I have, and I don't have a lot again because there weren't many expectations, but one of the criticisms that I kind of took away was they didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
Like they shied away, and I know that it's like a moment of celebration about like what the show was and bringing the cast back together, but I feel like it would have been at least admirable had they discussed some of the show's failures.
Yeah, for sure. I knew the Ursula Mad About You thing.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
So I knew that like Friends and Mad About You existed in the same universe because Phoebe's twin sister was originally a character on Mad About You, but I didn't know how that came to be. I thought that was super interesting that when they were casting the show and trying to figure out what Phoebe should be, that was it David Crane's boyfriend, or I don't know if they were married at that point or whatever, but whoever David Crane was seeing, partner, was like, what about Ursula from Mad About You? And they were like, just like, take Ursula from Mad About You and put her on the show? And they're like, yeah, just change her name and have her tone it down like 20%. And there were obviously Phoebe Ursula episodes. I think
Right.
that everyone knows about Ursula. But that got me wondering too, like, should we watch Mad About You? Because that's Helen Hunt. And Helen Hunt was great.
Who's the other guy in? It's Paul
Paul
Reiser.
Reiser.
Yeah.
So 2 brunch favorites.
Yeah.
Whiplashes.
People
Paul
love Mad
Reiser.
About You too.
They do. I don't remember the music for it, but I remember the music for Mad About You being very good.
It's a great title for a sitcom.
Yeah, totally 90s. Love it. The were Ross and Rachel on a break question was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, everybody was like,
Because-
yes.
Of
yes,
course.
yes. Right.
She said they were on a break.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I might go back and watch it at some point down the line just to kind of watch those cast moments.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like it could have been better, and I feel like it could have been if it couldn't have been better, it could have been shorter and more concise and packed more of a punch. Like there's
Mhm.
just too much fluff, like you said.
Last thing I'll say on this was it, of course, brought out all the, guess what? I don't think Friends was that good
Oh
of a
my
show,
God.
people. That is, I tweeted this, but not liking Friends is not a personality trait. And
Yeah.
people really think it is. Like, I think that even people who watched Friends, lived through Friends, and loved Friends understand now that, like, Friends wasn't that great. It could still mean a lot to you because
Right.
you grew up with it, and obviously it had a lot of issues. Like we
Right,
said, like
yeah.
extremely homophobic. Lack of representation in that show is
Crazy.
bonkers. But so like you can obviously point out like
And you can also
Friends
point
had a
out-
lot of issues. Friends was like the whitest show in the world, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and it also got bad. Like you
Yeah.
can point out that there were bad seasons of Friends.
Right, but I mean, people who grew up in the 90s, though, and are like, did you ever notice that Friends stinks? Or, like, I didn't think Friends was good. Like, there's a good chance you were lying. You
Right,
probably
yeah.
liked Friends, and you probably grew up going to school talking about Friends
And,
at
like,
school the next day.
And even if you think that Friends sucks and you think that Friends is overrated, to be like, Friends sucks, why are we doing this? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, because it was the fucking biggest show of the 90s and early 2000s. Like, even if you think the show sucks,
Right.
it has a massive cultural impact, and people do love it.
Why is Taylor Swift playing a stadium? Her last album wasn't even that good.
Right.
Because she has sold a bajillion albums and everybody likes her. Yeah, but like, listen to Steely Dan. Isn't Steely Dan so much better? Yes. You want to do Quiet Place 2, Mare? You want to do Dog Joker?
Let's do Mare.
Let's do Mare.
Let's do the TV stuff, and then we'll get into the movie stuff.
Congratulations are in order. You had 2 guesses as to who did it, and your first guess was like the second place did it person, and
Yeah.
your second guess was the first place who did it person. So congratulations.
you.
Round of applause.
Swish.
What would you like to say for yourself?
I'm proud of myself, I guess. Like it was
This is about you. This is your
is it-
moment.
yeah. It was I was like when it happened, because you do mention the fact that like I did get 1 and 2 in like succession, and then when the first one happened, I was like, oh fuck, like it happened so early in the finale that I was like,
Yeah.
this has got to be wrong, and so I'm 0 for 1 here, and then the second one happened, and I was like, oh, I'm batting 1,000.
That gives you like an A minus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do want to say like I did a good job, but I also do want to say that like, did that take points away from the show that I was able to guess it?
No. And this made me want... I didn't have this point when you got it, but then I had this point when I saw our friend Jim Murray tweet, like, I called this from the first episode. Like, hell yeah. I think I am out. And this is now post Mare of Easttown, so you definitely get your win. You first place in the miniseries Who Did It standings. I think I'm out on being impressed by guessing who did it, because we don't know how they did it.
That's true.
Like we have 6 or 7 options.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, but I did like I
getting-
provided some detail into how that happened when I said the second guess. I don't know. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, well, you said like there was obviously some rage there with the second.
Well, I said that. Yeah, I said there was some rage there, and I said he probably found out about the thing, and like I guessed the motive, and I guessed the cover up into how some of that stuff evolved.
Okay, so then that's I mean that's as close to full credit as full credit gets. But I feel like every time we go into, and I did this last week, every time we go into a finale of like a whodunit, we're like, who do you think did it? And everyone gives their guesses. Again, we have like between let's say 6 and 10 options. And then the story is explained, so it's therefore this person did it. And if you just guessed that person,
Right.
you're like, nailed it. I absolutely knew it. And you're like, you guessed correctly. I liked the explanation. I didn't like the explanation. Obviously, very dark ending. But the show for sure showed its work. It had enough red herrings that it wasn't bogus. I think there was one bogus one, and that was Dylan. And
Yeah, that one's a little loose. Like
For sure.
The like he just wanted to make sure that he could keep his kid sort of deal is like, well, we didn't see literally anything throughout that entire show run.
whole
that
show
would
about him not
suggest-
wanting to keep his
Yeah.
kid.
So that one felt a little thin, but there can be annoying red herrings where it's just like, I know that you're just trying to fucking throw this in to throw me off, and it's you're wasting my time by doing this shit. They had a lot of offshoots of the main storyline, and
Definitely.
it never felt like any of that was unnecessary or like unrelated to what we were trying to get towards.
Yeah.
Like it was just all of it felt very cohesive and very relevant to what we were watching in the story that we were trying to get to. And I think that's the best thing that I can say about Mare of Easttown is that like it kept all of the options open for a very, very long time, and it did so in a manner that kept you entertained and engaged the entire way.
Yeah, I mean, I threw in a group text. I was like, could it possibly be the writer friend? Because he's got to be there for some reason. But, like, the reason can simply be, like, this is also a person who is alive, and maybe they go on dates, and maybe they see this person or whatever. Like, not everything actually has to be about the murder.
And yeah, and I also think that it's necessary to have an outside perspective of like somebody who's not from Easttown, and I know that Sobel was that for a little bit.
Yeah.
But also like what's his name? The writer guy.
Yeah, the writer guy.
The writer guy is the personal side of Mare's outsider, whereas Sobel is the professional outsider.
Yeah, once they said it was John in the beginning of the finale, I was gonna text you. You were behind because you were having HBO trubs, and actually I felt very bad. I was the only person who was not having HBO issues on Sunday night.
Feel guilty about it?
And I was like, I feel guilty because I did the watch it in the
That's
last
true.
week, and now I'm getting the finale. I'm having the shortest wait possible, and so I couldn't text you guys about it. But when they said it was John in the beginning of the episode, I was gonna text you like, congratulations for probably the next 2 to 3 minutes, because once that happened, once they said it was John and there wasn't any sort of like flashback or showing how it happened, it was like I was like, all right, so it's either Lori or the kid at this point.
And it also happened in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was an hour-long finale. If that shit happens in 10 minutes, you got a lot of time to kill.
Although, when did they say in the Dream a Little Dream of Me, Nicole Kidman, Hugh Grant show, when did they make it clear that it was
Well, when
Hugh
he
Grant?
kidnapped the kid.
True.
And took him, that was a pretty clear indication that he'd kind of fucked up.
True. This is, I got to do a breaking news.
Okay.
Randy tweeted, okay. Cruella was really good. Would have been great, but the music was so bad I wanted
What?
to gouge my eyes out. Calling you now live on Brunch Podcast. Hold on a second. I don't even know what to do with this guy.
Oh shit! Also breaking news: Churches is debuting a new song tomorrow with the lead singer from The Cure.
Really?
Yeah.
If it goes to voicemail, I'm gonna hang up because that would be weird.
RandyHavens.com.
Hi, Randy Havens. Hi, Randy.
RandyHavens.com.
Hi, this is DJ Bean from Brunch. You're live on the Brunch podcast. I've got Pete Blackburn here. Pete, want to say hi? You're on with Randy Havens.
Hi, Randy Havens.
Hey there. Are you guys just in a room somewhere? You could Zoom me.
You want to Zoom? Want to Zoom this?
Yeah, why don't you Zoom me?
Okay.
Send me a Zoom link.
Well, Pete, do we have the technology to Zoom, Pete?
We do. Do you have a Discord?
Yeah, I got Discord.
You have
Yeah, send me your
Discord?
Discord.
Why don't you text Pete Blackburn your Discord information? We'll have you right on, Randy. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great. I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, we'll
Perfect.
talk to you soon. All right, that was Randy Havens. He's going to make another appearance on the pod. That was Randy's first appearance on today's podcast. He'll be on in a little bit. If you want to set up what you need to set up,
Yeah,
I can.
Let's do a read.
Okay, let's do a read.
You want to do the read?
Sure, while you set it up.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, I forwarded you the read.
Okay, let's see.
You got headphones too that you're gonna need.
No.
Okay,
Actually, I might. Hold on.
I have a pair too. There you go. You liar. Cool. I guess we're just lying to each other now.
Regular Brett Merriman. There's a great birthday tweet I
That
sent
was
him.
incredible. Happy birthday, a liar and all around good guy.
That was like people from like all sorts of different worlds were liking that one. Just like different people who have crossed paths with Brett. This is. I'm not cutting any of this.
Okay. Wonderful.
Getting forward to getting moving on this Randy conversation. Also moving in the air, traveling, train, wherever you're going in these times as we get back to the new normal. People are going to be traveling, going places, seeing friends. And when I do it, Pete, I'm going to be doing so with my Away luggage. Away is a modern lifestyle brand that creates thoughtful products for every traveler and every kind of trip. They started off with the perfect suitcase, crafted with features that make your travel more seamless. You know what I'm talking about. Plugging right in, charging up, doing that Betty Rubble in
Betty
Flintstone.
Rubble. Oh, yeah.
They do da-da-da-da-da, charge it. You see that live action Flintstone one?
No.
It's got
Oh, with
John Goodman.
Yeah.
Halle Berry. This is going to shock you. Halle Berry looks great in that movie. It was a children's movie, and I was like, damn, Halle Berry. Similarly, I was like, damn, this luggage from Away is excellent. I've had great trips with it. I'm looking forward to many more. Whether it's a trip to the corner store, a weekend away, or an extended stay with friends and family, we're all navigating the current reality of travel, but no matter your destination or style, Away's suitcases, bags, and accessories all come in a variety of colors, sizes, and materials to suit your needs and inspire your future travels. These are the types of things you're getting with all suitcases. They're going to last a lifetime. With durable exteriors, they can withstand even the roughest of baggage handlers. We've talked about this. Bring on the worst. Bring on the. Bring on Tom Wilson, Ryan Reeves, and apparently now Jake DeBrusque. They will do their worst to your luggage, and it will be okay. Every suitcase comes with an interior organization system that includes a built-in compression pad to help you pack more in, and a hidden and removable laundry bag that separates your dirty clothes. Pete, we've talked about this before. Worst part about going back is you got to put the dirty clothes in with the clean clothes. No, not with Away. They keep that separated. There's 4 360-degree spinner wheels that are guaranteed for the smoothest roll, even through the most hectic of airports and stations. So Ryan Reeves, Jake DeBrusque, Tom Wilson, they could be firing pucks at you, laying down the spike things that they do in movies to make the tires pop.
Yeah, spike strips.
Spike strips. Tell you what, I don't know if this is true, but Away is going to hold up through those. plus a TSA-approved combination lock to keep all your belongings safe. Away products are designed to last a lifetime. If any part of your suitcase breaks, the standout customer service will arrange to have it fixed or replaced, and there's a 100-day trial on everything Away makes. Take the product out on the road, live with it, travel with it, even get lost with it for 100 days. If you decide it's not for you, you can return any non-personalized item for a full refund during that period. No ifs, ands, or asterisks. And there's free shipping and returns on any order within the contiguous US, UK, Europe, and Canada. Start your 100-day trial and shop the entire Away lineup of travel essentials, including their best-selling suitcases at awaytravel.com/brunch. That's awaytravel.com/brunch. Make that call, Pete. Make the call. Make the call. Make the call. Make the call. I got to squeeze in here?
Yeah, you want to plug in here as well?
Plug in where? Oh,
Right here.
sure.
Hey, boys.
Hello, Mr. Randy Havens.
It's Randy.
Can you hear us? Oh, I gotta switch the.
Okay, looks like we're connecting.
I'm hearing him.
Hello, Mr. Randy Havens.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, this is
Randy.
tremendous.
I was
What's up?
wondering when.
Boys from Brunch. It's the bad boys of podcasting. Yeah, they just got done with a read.
We just got done with a read. Do you want to guess what it was for?
Joybird.
Yes.
Do you have video or no?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is
let me-
amazing.
Let me add the camera
This is
here.
as far as I can move over, DJ.
I'm going to go like this.
Hang on
There we
hang on
go.
1 second. I'll be right back.
This is all real. He's got a backdrop.
What is going on here? This is the first time that we've ever done this on the fly. Oh, heck yeah. Look at this. Look at this guy.
Okay, gotta switch it up. Gotta change it up. Gotta.
He's got that Hotlanta Falcons hat on.
There we go.
Congrats.
Hey, what's up?
Congratulations on Kyle Pitts, Randy.
Gonna be a good one.
Joining us now, by the way, is actor Randy Havens, friend of the podcast. Saw a tweet, had to give you a buzz and say, Randy checked with Pete. Didn't even check with Pete. I just saw the tweet, knew Pete would. Actually, no, I read the tweet, and you said, what? So then I called you, Randy, and now we're going to have it out. You just saw Dog Joker.
I just saw Dog Joker with Miss Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, famous actress.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Did you love it?
Dog Joker.
Best known for The Favorite. I liked it a lot, too. You tweeted, though, that your issue was with, you had an issue with the soundtrack, which one of my top notes is, what a soundtrack.
Ew.
No?
I like the soundtrack a lot.
You don't like that 70s music, bruv?
Okay. I don't have a problem with music. What I have a problem with is that every minute of the movie doesn't have to be a new song, bro.
Very true. There was,
Like, literally, the first 5 minutes of the movie, it's 5 songs.
that's actually true.
On another note, every one of the songs is overplayed anyway.
Yes, it's a lot of like One Way or Another. It's a lot of they have the zombies. I was thinking early on, I was like, this is a very expensive soundtrack. Once you hear the doom doom doom, you're like, man, this movie's spent.
I mean, Randy's
Right.
no stranger to
Yeah, you were on Stranger Things
to
season 2,
shows
bruv.
with big music soundtracks. Come on.
Yeah, but do you really think the music on Stranger Things is overdone? Do you think there's too much music on Stranger Things?
No, they weren't peppering you with the music. But yeah, this has, so we got The Doors, we've got Nina Simone doing Feeling Good, we've got
Yeah, do
Ike
we
and
have a
Tina
list?
Turner,
I would like to see a list of the songs.
Stone Cold
on-
Crazy in the car chase. That was, so it was, all right. Folks, if you haven't seen Dog Joker,
Sympathy for the Devil.
yeah.
Okay, so all right, so let's get into first of all, I think that the music plays into they really wanted to hammer it home that they were doing like a punk rock gritty version of Cruella. And
Oh, it would have been cool if they played some punk rock.
That's true. Like the punkiest it gets is, I think, One Way or Another, right? Pretty much. Like Blondie was as
Well,
punk as
now
it got.
Now I Want to Be Your Dog is I would say that's punk.
What was the song that they did at like the show outside?
I Want to Be Your Dog.
Okay, so
that's
that was
Now I Wanna Be
definitely
Your
that
Dog,
was
yeah.
definitely like the okay, we are doing a punk rock version of Cruella here.
Yeah.
Right.
You are right, Randy. It was shoved down your throat, but I don't want to find
And
it
it
in
was
my
constant.
notes,
There
but-
was no score. The movie didn't have a score. The score was the soundtrack. And I'm like, this is annoying. Like,
now you're gonna ruin it for. I think that everything you're saying is
if you ha-
probably
if-
right.
If you have big moments, like you can accentuate a big moment with a great song. If you have a bunch of songs throughout the movie that is just like, okay, the soundtrack is just loud, 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 loud constantly, then when it comes time for like a big moment, there's what's the point?
So can we at least say that there was one big moment that was accentuated by a song that literally gave me goosebumps when Cruella unveils herself at the big event, and she's starting fires, doing all like assaulting people, not getting arrested, doing all sorts of crazy things that you're just not allowed to do. And then things like some chaos starts to happen, and it all starts to happen in slow motion, and they play the violin intro of Livin' Thing by ELO, which is one of the best songs ever. But there was so
Sure.
much music
But
to
I've
that
seen
point.
a movie called Boogie Nights.
And God, Randy, look, Randy,
why
it's about
Randy's an
time
expert.
somebody says this about you, okay? We get it. Like films and like you do the films and you do the acting and everything. Doesn't mean that you can't put Living Thing in a bunch of songs and a bunch of movies, okay? I just had to say it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. There are films that have great soundtracks, right? Like James Gunn knows how to do a soundtrack, right?
For
Quentin
sure.
Tarantino knows how to do a great soundtrack. Paul Thomas Anderson knows how to do a great soundtrack. And it's like
And music video.
and
That's true.
And yeah, music videos.
Hi, music video.
So I think there's a way to use music in a really fun and exciting way, and I feel like Mr. Craig Gillespie missed the mark. It's the one part of the movie where he missed the mark. I thought the costumes were amazing. I thought the characterization was amazing. I thought the story was good. I thought Emma Stone was knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean the fashion obviously was incredible. I am just going to say that in all seriousness, I thought that Living Thing scene was great, and I loved once it transformed from Estella to Cruella. So a little backstory: if you haven't seen the movie, again, you're absolutely fucked on this conversation. But Estella is a kid that likes fashion, loses her mother because someone kind of kills her mother using guard Dalmatians, which are very, of course, famous attack Dalmatians. So she moves to the city and she gets into fashion, and then she finds out some bad stuff about a fashion person, and she decides, okay, I'm going to become the Joker, and turns into the Joker, and then starts ruining all this fashion person's events by being this kind of fashion Joker. And everything is great about it, except the transition from Estella to Cruella, I thought was so choppy. And even in like a kid's crazy, even though it's not really a kid's movie, even in
No,
like
not at all.
a gritty, ridiculous movie where there are attack Dalmatians, I thought the transition, getting her from Estella to Cruella, was so tough. And then once she was like locked into being Cruella, for the first like 5 minutes of that, I was like, I can't believe you're still talking like this. Your plan was to dress up as this person and like be in character for a few seconds. And then she just never left character. And then she kind of turned into like Freddie Mercury for a little bit. She did a better job playing Freddie Mercury than Rami Malek. Hats off there. But once, at least for me, once I accepted, okay, now she's Cruella and she's just fucking shit up, it was awesome. I thought the movie was super enjoyable.
I thought that it was very, very enjoyable. I thought it was very fun. Like, it was definitely ridiculous at times, and I think that's at least partially to be expected when you're talking about a fucking Cruella de Vil origin story.
Sure.
The big problem for me, I guess, and it's not that big of a problem, but like if you're gonna do an origin story on like a definitely evil character that you grew up with, you have to really toe the line between like making him or her sympathetic, and like there's really nothing in this movie that you would say like, oh, okay, now she's crossed the line and she's become bad. Like
They totally skirt the whole
yeah.
she murders dogs thing.
yeah,
Well, yeah, she doesn't. She never kills a dog in this movie, right?
doesn't kill a
No.
dog, doesn't kill a
They-
person.
They sort of hint at it. She's mean to her friends.
Yeah, she's mean to the guy from yesterday.
She takes advantage of the guy from Game of Thrones and Richard Jewell.
And Richard, I was gonna say, your boy Paul Walter.
Yeah, why is
Hauser
it that
in
like
this?
every time Paul Walter Hauser has a project, we have to have like Randy on?
Hey, you're both from Atlanta. What's that like? Is he from Atlanta?
He's not from Atlanta. He's a Chicago guy.
Oh, okay. Maybe I thought he was from Atlanta because he played somebody from Atlanta in the movie
Yep.
Richard Jewell.
So he did his job.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
pretended to be somebody.
I
So
believe
is he-
he's I know he came up in the Chicago.
Is he really a street
comedy.
tough from London? Who
That's the funny
mugs
thing
people?
that's where he actually got his start. Before he did comedy, he was a street tough, a London street tough.
him and
Um,
wait, that dude from yesterday is also in Game of Thrones?
yeah, he was one of the guys in. Well, I don't. You don't watch Star Wars, so
Correct. Not a Harry Potter guy.
Yeah, he was one of the slave merchants.
Ooh. Did you ever see yesterday?
No, I heard your review and I said, "Yep."
You thought you didn't need it after that? Why?
What?
I watched yesterday again during the pandemic. It was
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We all had a lot of time. We all had too much time.
That's right. I can't believe Too Much Time by Styx wasn't in the Dog Joker. Man, now you
Can we look at the soundtrack? Can we
yeah.
pull that up?
Okay.
Where's the intern? Can we pull that up?
Okay, we got Call Me Cruella by Florence and the Machine. That was okay. That was at the end. Bloody Well
Yeah,
Right.
see,
Supertramp is in
so-
this.
So Call Me Cruella, I thought would have been a great, or even like Cruella de Vil, right?
Yeah.
That song would have been a great song to put in place of Sympathy for the Devil. Because I'm like, okay, well, at least Sympathy for the Devil is a little bit clever in the context of DeVille.
Yeah.
But even then, it's Sympathy for the Devil. I was like, oh my God, might as well have played like Devil in a Blue Dress.
Ooh, they should have played Devil in a Blue Dress. That would have been awesome. Devil in a blue dress, blue. You know that one?
Yeah, I know that one. That's why I brought it up.
Sick. Whisper, Whisper, Bee Gees, 5-1, The Doors, Feeling Good, Nina Simone, Fire, Ohio Players, Whole Lot of Love, Ike and Tina Turner, Living Thing, ELO, Stone Cold Crazy during the car chase, One Way or Another, Should I Stay or Should I Go? That's another, like, that's got to be in every movie. I Love Paris, Georgia Gibbs, Love is Like a Violin, Ken Dodd, I Want to Be Your Dog, Come Together, Ike and Tina Turner. It did have a great mid-credits scene where the lawyer guy ends up writing the Cruella de Vil song.
I did
Well,
not
right,
see that.
so
You didn't see the mid-credits scene?
no.
Oh yeah, the guy just the piano player guy who they bring up for no reason that he's a lawyer, but he also plays piano. And at the end, he's just sitting in his apartment with she sends the 3 dogs, Flotsam and Jetsam, to different people.
So here's the deal. I mean, this is big time spoiler territory.
Oh.
Those two are the characters from 101 Dalmatians.
Who?
Their
Pongo?
dogs. Their
Pongo's
dogs
in-
get together.
Pongo's in
so-
101 Dalmatians?
Yes.
Perdita too?
So yes. So
Huh.
those two dogs fall in love, and then they bring their owners together who also fall in love. Those dogs have puppies. Those puppies get kidnapped by Cruella de Vil, along with 84 other Dalmatians, and that's where you get 101 Dalmatians.
Okay, so I definitely knew the Pongo and Perdita thing. I did not know that the owners basically Brady Bunch their
Yeah. You didn't know
parents.
that?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
that.
And so also the him writing the Cruella de Vil song is canon in 101 Dalmatians.
That's- Amazing.
I
'Cause
did pick up
the
on, like,
song becomes like a big pop hit in the 101 Dalmatians universe,
really?
and that's where they get their money, and that's how they're able to sort of get back at Cruella and get their dogs back.
I kid you not, that was my favorite song when I was a kid.
Wow.
Cruella de Vil.
I did-
Like my parents have videos of me dancing around like rocking the fuck out to Cruella de Vil.
I did pick up at the end of the movie that that Paul Walter Hauser's character is like, he's looking a little, the dog's looking a little fat, which would, I think, foreshadows the
yeah.
pregnancy.
Ooh. Well, I don't know what this would be Rotten Tomatoes wise. I'm guessing it's got I would guess like a low 90s audience score. Let's see.
I'm gonna say it beat Paddington 2.
What? Fuck off.
And-
Get
and
out of here.
Citizen Kane. I'm gonna say it's
Trash.
100 I'm gonna say it's
97%
100%.
audience score.
Holy smokes, that is very, very, very high.
74% tomato meter. In reality, I think this is like a high 80s.
No, I think it's lower than that, honestly, and I really liked it. But like I've been doing the whole Letterboxd thing recently, and I've been doing all the out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you give anything 5 stars? I'm so stingy with that
Yeah.
6 star.
Right, like if I give something 5 stars, it's going to be like a movie that I think should win Best Picture.
Yeah, I think that. Oh yeah, I would probably say 4 stars. But again, like there's such a big. Like, do you guys agree that her becoming Cruella was the
Yes.
most ridiculous, absolutely tough to follow thing?
I didn't think it was like tough to follow. I just thought it was just like, oh, we're just doing this now. Like we're here. I didn't think that the transition was subtle.
Right. I think it was a little too sudden.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea that that of how she comes up with it. She's like, oh, this is how we do it. This is how we get back at her. Now that I figured out who she is and what she's done, now we got to get her, which I thought was a great thing. And it's like, oh, well, of course, this is the perfect way to get her. Like you bring this aspect of your personality back and defeat her that way. Which I thought was great, but I was like, you could have spent a little more time getting there. But I mean, the movie was already jam packed with stuff, so there'd have to be stuff that would get cut.
Maybe a little less the store owner being super mean to her at the beginning.
Yeah.
We got that like
Right.
300 times. That guy was so mean.
And I felt like it was a little long to begin with.
Oh, right, yeah, the guy from
Yeah, with J.C. Penney.
the guy from Fleabag.
He's in
Sure.
Fleabag?
Yeah, he's rat tooth or rat mouth.
I gotta watch that show. Shout out Emma Thompson. She was great.
She
in
was
it.
great.
Emma Thompson was.
she
I
was
thought
awesome.
all the characters. I thought the actors were so good. Even like the day players were so good. There's like
Agree.
a waiter who gets hit in the face with a champagne cork at one point, and I was like, that guy didn't even have a line, and he was good.
Yeah, a little less Mark Strong than I would have liked, but
I was gonna say.
everybody found their way to shine.
Yeah.
Mark Strong included. But when you see him in a movie, you're like, oh,
So
yes. it's
I
gonna
don't know
be-
if this was like an intentional choice, and it goes back to the fact that like she is still kind of a sympathetic character, but this very much felt like part 1 of 2 of a Cruella origin story. Like it doesn't feel like we've gotten there yet, and maybe that's an intentional choice where it sets up a sequel, because apparently we're doing fucking sequels to origin stories now,
Right.
with regular Joker, and we're doing Joker. So no, I think that there's still a little ways to go to get to the Cruella that we know, who's just trying to murder hundreds of puppies.
I think that's intentional. I think that they left all that out because they just want to pretend it isn't going to happen.
But like, if you're gonna pretend that it isn't gonna happen, then the movie doesn't serve a purpose. Like, you can't do a gritty Cruella origin story and pretend like she doesn't become the character that we all know her as.
But I mean, that is what they did, though. So you know
That's-
what? I'll
that's
knock
my
it
biggest
down.
criticism.
I'll knock it down. And I did say that earlier, that like they just kind of pretend she doesn't murder dogs. I think you got to lose a full letter grade for that.
Like, I think that the regular we call it Dog Joker, but I think that the regular Joker did a pretty good job of like presenting the story and showing how he got there, and somewhat making him sympathetic, but also like having him cross the point of no return, where you're like, fuck, this guy has done some unforgivable shit, and he has transformed into somebody who is like probably cannot come back from this.
Yeah, once you murder somebody for just kind of being mean to you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then that's bad enough. Then when you kill Robert De Niro,
Yeah.
On live TV.
that's unforgivable.
When you
That's
do
unforgivable.
when you do what Robert De Niro was kind of doing anyway in King of Comedy, but he didn't actually do it in that movie. When you out De Niro in King of Comedy, De Niro, that's a bridge too far. Did you see A Quiet Place 2?
No.
The lack of preparation for this episode, Randy, is
Yeah, sorry, I didn't do my homework. I will say this: like, there's another big difference between Joker and 101
Jokers.
101 dog jokers is that Joker, like, at the end of Joker, it's kind of like there's kind of a little thing where the Joker's kind of like winking and going like, or is that the true story, or am I just making that up?
Because he's an unreliable narrator.
Right. And that's a callback to a graphic novel called Killing Joke, where he tells his origin story. But then he's like, or am I? Or is it? I don't know. Which I thought was an interesting little thing. And we don't really get that here because, like, where's that line? Because the movie basically ends at the beginning of 101 Dalmatians, and it's like, okay, so now we're now like ready for Cruella to be a dog murderer.
Yeah, I think that, like, you shouldn't crave a sequel at the end of an origin story. And now I'm sort of craving the sequel because, again, we didn't get there.
You just need them to admit it.
Right, yeah.
Like I don't trust, and that's why when you say will there be a sequel, like I don't trust there will be a sequel because I'm assuming based on how they completely cut that stuff out that they did it because they want this to be a thing where they can pretend Cruella de Vil isn't a sociopath who kills dogs, which that's kind of her brand. They just totally left it out. I don't know. I would take more of Emma Stone being Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, I mean, have you guys already made this joke? Cruella de Vil wears Prada.
No, but there's
Ooh.
obviously I've heard people say like it's got Devil Wears Prada vibes.
Definitely.
And I'm like, just mean people in fashion? Yes.
Well, I mean, there is like the big fashion icon who is like quite mean to her understudy.
Yeah.
This is a pretty solid tie there.
Yeah. There and also no dog deaths in Devil Wears Prada.
Also, a lot of Clark Kent stuff going on in this movie, where it's like, you really not seeing it? It's very
God,
clear.
yeah.
Very clear
But
that this
that
person
I'll
is the same
forgive, though.
person.
I thought there was an opportunity to make a joke that they missed. When she comes, she's got the friend at like the consignment shop
Mm-hmm.
who like helps her make dresses. She comes in, as Stella. Then she comes in as Cruella, and he doesn't recognize her. And then she comes in a third time, and she's got the mustache on. And I wanted him to not know who she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. It's like he's the
And I
dumbest
was like,
person in the world.
If you would have done that, then it could have been like, okay, in this universe, if somebody just looks slightly different, no one recognizes them.
That's a good point. That would have been very, very funny. It's like, who?
Yeah.
I've never
I'm
met
gonna
you in my
call
life.
Gillespie, and we're gonna do a quick re-edit on
But
the
wait
movie.
a second. You
Gonna
don't
do
look
some reshoot.
exactly like you're wearing different clothes than what you wore before.
You have a trashman's outfit on, and you have a mustache. You're clearly not the person that I think you are.
I did like all the I liked all the love that the newspaper was getting. A lot of stuff made out of newspaper. Very cool. Love having you on. This is the first time we've had you on since we've joined the Washed fam, and it's good that our Washed friends can now be Randy friends.
That's right. Well, hey, Wash fam.
This is
Well,
it sounded like you
welcome
were
to
doing
me.
like a radio thing like, hey, Washed
Hey,
fam,
Washed
this is Randy
fam,
Havens.
what's up?
Randy
What's going on?
Havens.
Oh, yeah,
And
do-
you're
wait,
listening
wait,
to Brunch.
Do that for
You're-
do that for the cold open.
Hey, Washed fam, this is Randy Havens. I'll do some editing stuff to it, and you're listening to Brunch on Washed Media.
Great. Hey, Washed fam, this is Randy Havens, and you're listening to Brunch on Washed Media.
Do one more where you do take a little break between Havens and you're listening to Brunch on Washed Media.
Great.
3.
Hey, Washed fam, this is Randy. Oh, sorry, you were gonna count me
3,
in.
2.
Hey, Wash fam, this is Randy Havens, and you're listening to Brunch on Washed Media.
You got pipes, buddy.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
You got pipes
You doing voiceover work or what?
I miss my calling.
for Washed
I really
Media.
miss my calling.
Yes. Awesome. We love you.
I love you guys. I just want to say one more thing before I go. Just a quick.
Oh, he got
What
us.
a move! What a move!
He got us.
He got us in our own fucking game. I love that.
All right, we got about 2 minutes to do A Quiet Place 2.
Okay.
Very exciting. We both had the same issue, which was that they clearly just got Cillian. Is that how you say his name?
Cillian Murphy, yeah.
Cillian Murphy. Great actor. Handsome guy. Looks like former Boston Bruin Seth Griffith. Forget his name. Very nice kid, though. And they just had him be John Krasinski for the movie.
Yeah, and it was a lot of the same stuff, and that's not a bad thing. Like, I loved A Quiet Place, but I felt like I didn't need the sequel after the first one because I liked the idea that they didn't explain anything, and I just assumed that if you're gonna make a sequel, you're gonna explain some of the stuff, and like especially because they open it up with the day one, and they do day one where all this stuff starts to happen. And then they jump all the way ahead to the end of A Quiet Place, the original, and then they just go from there.
Yeah.
Like there's no time that you miss other than like the stuff that you already missed, and they never really explain or like really build off of what you learned from the first one. You don't learn a single thing in the entire second movie.
So is the third one probably going to be between the first day and then when we get to the first one? Because if they do another there's two things they can do. They can either bridge that gap or they can do one that finally ends it and solves it. And this one could have been the one that finally ended it and solved it, kind of. And they just chose at the end for it not to be, which is what movies do. That was really annoying.
I think that if you're going to do another one, it has to be more of either it's got to conclude the saga, like you got to find a clean conclusion, or you have to explore more of like where the world is as like a society, from a society standpoint, and not just the aliens thing, because they touched on that like just a tiny bit. They had like the gang that like tried to kidnap them or whatever, and
zombies kind of. Like the little girl was like, looked like a zombie.
They like made her seem that way as like bait.
Yeah.
And like I think that if you explored like the gang side of it and just like how lawless this world is now, that would be interesting. But then you're venturing sort of into Walking Dead territory, and
very much got that feel on the dock.
Yeah, and like I don't know if I want that or I need that with A Quiet Place. But, like, it seemed like they wanted to go there. They did a little taste of it, and they had Cillian Murphy talking about, like, these people aren't worth saving, blah, blah, blah. And you just didn't really get enough of that to be satisfying, and you didn't get enough of a new experience otherwise to make this feel like it was worth it.
I'll leave off on this. 3 very bad jump scares. Like, this movie had, I think the first one did too, but this was a crazy jump scare movie. The one at the beginning with the cop, there's one on the train, and then there's one in the car, although you kind of see the one in the car coming.
In the train, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the train is just such a suspenseful scene that you're like, at some point, a door's going to open and something's going to jump out or whatever. But I really like this movie. Like, I thought that this was...
Yeah, like, in a vacuum, it's a very entertaining movie.
They've given us 2 really good movies,
right.
And I think that a third one is not going to do anything for me.
Yeah, and like I think that this is definitely worth seeing. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Like it is.
Follow Pete on Letterboxd.
Yes, and it is very enjoyable. But again, it doesn't. ultimately, I feel like I have to deduct points because I feel like it didn't really serve a purpose other than just making another Quiet Place movie.
I would go 4 out of 5, and please, no more.